Joining us now, John Solomon, editor-in-chief of Just the News, best-selling author. You know, there is Simon & Schuster, for crying out loud. There is no pretense here whatsoever. The national media in this country, in all of its forms, are sold out entirely to the deep state, to the radical Dems, and they don't even blush, do they?
No, listen, it's a two-tiered system right now. And you know, if we want to talk about beautiful things for Hunter Biden, if that is truly the title of his book, right? How about the beautiful money he got from Burisma, a crooked company, while his father was there? I have a lot of questions I hope Hunter Biden answers in the book. I don't think he will. But, you know, there are really important questions. And we hear today that this story is going to be about how he overcame addiction. And listen, addiction is a real disease. That's a compelling story. I'm sure that'll make a great book. But in the midst of his addiction, he was well enough to scheme. You have one document you and I talked about on this show about a month ago. There is a document from April of 2014 where Joe Biden is about to go to Ukraine for the first time as chief of U.S.-Ukraine policy. And Hunter Biden is well enough to scheme with his business partner on how they're going to cash in, how they're going to get Burisma to hire him as a consultant before his dad gets on the ground. And then when his dad gives a speech, he takes credit for some of the language that was beneficial to his natural gas client, Burisma. He may have been under the addiction of drugs and other things, but he was well enough to know how to make a lot of money on his father's watch.
Well, you know, there may have been just a general and broad addiction issue across all of those players in the Ukraine corruption scandal, the China corruption scandal. For all we know, that just adds to the mystery of it all as to why anyone would tolerate the conduct of these people in public life and with their families. There's a wonderful quote from Frank Biden, from the vice president then, president now, admonishing his brother to just basically take it down a notch here. We have concerns about the family business. For Christ's sake, watch yourself. Don't get sucked into something that would, first of all, hurt you. I guess give us a sense of the context of that and how successful that
wasn't very successful because the whole family. Yeah, it wasn't very successful because the whole family continued to look for deals anywhere in the world where foreign despots or foreign governments or foreign companies were looking to cash in. And let's keep in mind, there was a moment in 2015 where George Kent, the Democrat star impeachment witness in the last impeachment, wanted to approach Joe Biden and say, listen, your son's undercutting our corruption effort. And Joe Biden's team wouldn't have even listened to it. They didn't want to hear about it. As the Obama-Biden administration was leaving office in November 2016, George Kent wrote an email saying, we need to tell Joe Biden just how much Hunter Biden undercut American policy in Ukraine. This wasn't just about getting rich. It was about hurting American policy in Ukraine.
And that documentation of all of that, so many documents concerning Spygate, and the insistence on transparency in the final days of the Trump administration. You were working diligently to put together that reporting, and the White House failed to deliver those documents and still haven't, as I understand it, to this day.
That's right. They really let the president down. The president did his job. He signed an order before he left office. He declassified a binder about that thick, about 15, 17 inches thick. I have a full listing of what the documents are that he declassified. Only about 15% of those have been released or made public since the declassification. Major documents are sitting there, and I don't know if anyone has the time or courage to release them now. I'm very worried that the president's declassification order has been thwarted by a lack of public release. What could we get? We could get the unredacted FISA warrants. I know what's in them. Let's get those out. We have all the handling documents for Stefan Halper and Christopher Steele. Let's get those out. There's big news in them. We owe this to history. We owe it to the American people. And it would be a crying shame that now, more than 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days after the President Trump signed the order declassifying these, they have not been released. His own team has let him down.
And in that regard, 2 weeks and 2 days, it's with the president, the former president, facing impeachment. His team, I'm sure, is concerned and working on that effort to defend him. But
Sure.
put in context for us just how complicated a matter it would be to turn over those documents, let's say, to you. Would it be just a straightforward,
once they're
put together a box and hand it over?
Yeah, they're declassified. The information's there. Senators put things up on
So
declassified
let me do
documents
this
all the
again.
time.
Pick up the box, pick up the box
Yeah.
that's in
Walk it
their
over.
possession and hand it to you.
Yep. I'll go get it, and I'll post every document to the American people. Yes, and I'll make every document available so everybody can read it. We'll put them all up. It's not that hard.
Well, I'm sure that the people who are around the president and who are on his team certainly will do that, because I can't imagine them, on a simple coffee break, perhaps. Pick up the box, hand it to John Solomon. Pick up box.
I'll take it gladly.
Hand it to John. John Solomon.
I like the advice.
You're
Thank
a
you, sir.
patient man and a good man. Thanks so much.